If you don't already know, this video is actually part of a double video. So this video is 10 things that I hate about Portland. Click over here to view the other video if you haven't seen it yet. 10 things that I love about Portland. I mean, I love Portland, but is there really such a thing as a truly perfect city? I mean, to be fair, I did have to force a few of these in there, so I guess Portland comes close, actually. Number 10, the lack of an underground metro. Okay, to be fair, I actually don't really think this is actually valid. I mean, we already have a state-of-the-art light rail system. I just kind of wish that we had more underground train stations than Washington Park, as in the one I made a video about, so let's put that off. Okay, number 10, people mispronouncing things in the area. This is more so what people outside of Portland do, but you know, KhAnubis, Willamette, Wesleyan. No, it's KhAnubis, Willamette, and Wesleyan. Also, I forgot to mention this when I was first recording this, but it's Oregon, not Oregon. That really annoys us, actually. What's next? Bay of Vernon instead of Beaverton, Happivalley instead of Happy Valley. Number 9, we're overshadowed by Seattle. Here in Portland, many of the things we're associated with, rain, environmental spirit, marijuana, are also Seattle's thing. Seattle even has their own Pioneer Square, for crying out loud. And Seattle is slightly bigger than Portland, but it's all the more well known for some reason. Number 8, we're somewhat remote from other major cities. Part of being on the West Coast, so let's say you want to go to Seattle from here to see what it's all about, what catches people's attention. It's a good 5-hour drive north. Going south, it's a 9 or 10 hour drive through all of Oregon and half of California to reach San Francisco. Going east, there's Boise, I guess. I guess you could count that. Going west, I don't know, Tokyo? Number 7, a stereotypical hatred of non-Portlanders. People often like to throw this joke around, and it's not completely true. It's maybe true a little bit for a few people, but it's not completely true. And there's a myth going around that Portlanders really don't like Washingtonians and Washington State in general, and it also extends to Californians, but more so Washingtonians because they're right there. I'm pointing north. Now, is it true that we think that? Actually, yeah, it kind of is. Number 6, riding your bike isn't as easy as you think around here. As I mentioned in the other video, Portland isn't really the perfect city for biking. However, I mentioned in the other video that it's actually the spirit of the people who bike here in the cold winter months, where it's all cold and wet. Actually, spring, summer, and the first half of fall are actually really good months to ride your bike. But in the cold, wet winter months, like right now in February, no, it's not really that. Unless the same bike jacket doesn't happen to have a scuba setting on it, so that's specifically why I'm complaining about this. Number 5, 100 years ago, there was legislation passed in Oregon which, as he said, was pretty much some of the most vile language ever spoken in the English language. Basically, in Oregon, up until basically around 80 years ago, African Americans weren't actually allowed to live in Oregon. It still extends to some point today. Obviously, Portland isn't completely white, but a large majority actually generally is. I joked about it a little bit in my Portland Stereotypes video, but if you're someone who absolutely values vast different languages, cultures, ethnicities, etc., and you want to be around it all the time, you might want to think twice about Portland, just saying. Number 4, rain. Don't get me wrong here, I actually don't mind the rain at all. Even if it goes for a week long at once. You know, small showers, I actually kind of like them. They're kind of refreshing especially when it gets warm out. I'm talking about practically biblical, flood-inducing rainfall that pours down on us, basically like the entire city of Portland is doing the ALS Ice Bucket Challenge. I mean, look at that! Look at that! How is that a puddle? TriMet, that is not a submarine. Number 3, the relative lack of free attractions that you can just show up at and hang out. Okay, we have Pioneer Square and we have a lot of parks. Actually, yeah, okay, this is one of the things I had to force in there. There aren't many things I really hate about Portland. I really had to force this in there, so okay, yeah, this is my Washington, D.C. Standards showing again, so let's move on. Number 2, speaking of which, I can't refer to myself as Washingtonian, because right over there, I'm pointing north, is Washington State, where many Washingtonians come from. I'm Washingtonian, but I'm not from that Washington. I'm from that Washington. I'm pointing east to District of Columbia. But I would have to say I'm from Washington, D.C., which is significantly... No, why would someone say that? You know, people who come up with names for locations, when two people from two very different places have to share the same demonym, Washingtonian in this case, it gets really messed up. And number one, Portland has what I like to call weather Tourette syndrome. Yeah, you think the rain is bad enough? Portland is basically the city where you'll be using the AC and the heater, or if you're fancy, the heated seats and the sunroof in the same 10-minute drive. Thank you for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, please give it a like and subscribe for more in the future. Be sure to check out our other videos, 10 things that I love about Portland. And I will see you on Wednesday. Stay positive.